Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. It is time for December empties. Yay! So this month, I don't have as many empties as I usually do for a few reasons. First of all, my husband and I took a trip for 2 weeks, so we weren't here to burn the candles that I usually would be burning. It was a wonderful vacation. We took a cruise. We were gone for 2 weeks. It went around the Caribbean, and it was great. We kind of consider it kind of like our off the grid time. I'm too cheap to pay for the internet on a cruise, but that's also good because it forces me to disconnect. So it was good. And then I got back and it was Christmas and Santa brought me a cold. So for quite a few days after we got home, I couldn't smell anything anyway. So I might have like a candle going for ambiance while I was recovering, but I couldn't smell anything. So that is my story for December. So let's get into the empties. And then also, if you haven't seen it, I posted a video for the new year about the Candle 100. So I'll give you a little synopsis of that at the end of this video if you haven't seen that other video. So let's see what I've got here. Oh, I've got other things on top of my candle pile, which doesn't bode well for reorganizing here. Okay, what should we start off with? I will start with, for anyone that hasn't seen any of my other videos yet, and if you're new, welcome, and please consider subscribing. I would love it. And to those of you who have watched my other videos, welcome back. So for anyone that doesn't know, I kind of am trying to break up with the Yankee WoodWick paraffin original jars because they take forever to burn with the WoodWick, and they don't have the presence that I'm looking for in a candle. With the WoodWick, they take forever to pull out, and I just figured I'm going to go through my collection and just put these in my candle crocks to try and get through them. I still love the fragrance, and putting them in the candle crock amplifies it. So I think I'm getting more bang for my buck that way too, to be honest. So the first couple empties here aren't going to be really empty because they were in my candle crock, but I did enjoy the fragrances during that time. So I think the first one we will cover here will be Christmas Cookie, and seemed pretty appropriate for December. The notes on Christmas Cookie in my little notebook here. On top is creamy vanilla bean, mid-note of nutmeg, cinnamon, sugar, and base notes of vanilla, butter, and baked notes. So this was kind of just a basic vanilla with, on cold, to me, it almost smells like a vanilla pudding. There is a little bit left because I just turned it off before we left for vacation. So there's a little bit of scent left, but I didn't feel like rewarming it when I got home. So when it was heated up though, it did kind of take on that baked cookie quality. So it was a nice vanilla cookie. And I think this would be a good companion scent, honestly, if you like a gourmand bakery type vanilla. This could be one that you burn any time of year, not just during the holidays. So if you can pick it up on sale for like the after holiday sales or anything, and you don't mind that it's labeled Christmas cookie, I think you could really burn this anytime. I would try it again in the other formats eventually, but I don't think I need to like run out and buy it right now. And from my recollection, I think this is a fragrance that's in their core collection anyway and available in most formats. So I do recommend it though. It smelled good and it was a good companion to anything else that happened to be going in the house at the time. So that is Christmas Cookie. And the other one that lived its life in a crock here from Yankee is Spun Sugar Flurries. So let's go over the notes first and then I'll give you my thoughts. Spun Sugar Flurries is top notes of whipped pineapple, lemon, apricot, and apple. Mid notes of cinnamon, jasmine, muguet, evergreen snow, and cognac. And then base notes of spun sugar, amber, sandalwood, cedarwood, musk, and moss. So all these notes are like confusing, to be honest. It feels like Yankee just kind of said, what fragrance oils do we have, random extras left over of, and let's just throw them all in one candle and see what happens. So like reading the notes of this, like I don't even know what I was trying to expect. I think I picked this up after an after Christmas sale in the past. But I expected it to be more fruity and maybe a little bit more gourmand based on that artwork there. See, Spun Sugar Flurries. It's got like, I don't know if it's like a waffle tower or some kind of cake. But I think that's what I wanted out of it based on the picture. And then with whipped pineapple, I usually like pineapple, but I didn't get any pineapple out of this. It's just, this to me was very confusing because it's floral. It's very floral. It's like a floral, and it almost takes on like a body care quality. It's like all jasmine and muguet. And musk. I don't get like sweetness from it from any spun sugar. I don't get fruitiness. If it is a fruitiness, it's maybe like a floral fruitiness that sometimes you might get from like a dried fruit or something, but really this was a very confusing candle. I don't think I would repurchase it because it's like a imposter. It feels like an imposter. What you see is definitely not what you get, especially if you're not paying attention to the scent notes like I probably didn't at the time that I bought it. So it didn't feel like a holiday. And if you were going to burn it at any time, January is actually probably one of the good times to burn it because it is kind of, I don't know, but it's not even like a fresh floral. It's just like, it's a confusing floral. That's my thought on that one. Really a confusing floral. Don't really recommend. So that is Spun Sugar Flurries. All right. One other candle here that kind of has a story with it is WoodWick Vanilla and Sea Salt. And you will see there's no wick in it. So what's the story here? What happened was I think I had seen it on Amazon at one point at a pretty deep discount. So I decided to just like throw it in my cart one day to get to like free overnight shipping or something. And when it arrived, like I don't know what I don't know what the life story of this candle was before it got to me, but it arrived. The lid was on it, but there was like nothing at the bottom here. It was like all dead space. And then the wax had like slid down. I don't know if it had melted at some point or was stored upside down, but it was all like stuck to the lid. And it was just a really odd situation when I unpackaged it. Could I have returned it? Yeah. Did I pay enough for it to make it worth returning it? No. So I decided to kind of do some creative melting with it. And I did use the candle crock. I threw it in the candle crock, let everything warm up and melt so I could get the lid off of it. And then at that point, I pulled the wick out of it, the WoodWick, to, I don't know, it was just bothering me that it was how it was. I think it was actually broken too, from what I remember. It was, like I said, it was an odd situation. So I did put it in the crock for a while. And so this is what we end up with, just, wax in a jar, which is what you would expect after cracking a candle. But it was, I should have taken a picture, but I didn't think about it when it arrived because it was a conundrum for sure. So I did write the notes down. So vanilla sea salt is top notes of green, fruity, marine, and apple. Mid notes of jasmine, muguet, and rose. And then base notes of musk, vanilla, sweet, and woody. So oddly, it almost feels like a cousin to the spun sugar flurries that we just talked about. It has a lot of similar notes. It's got like fruitier notes supposedly on top, florals in the mid, and then, kind of your normal base notes. Both candles have a lot of jasmine in it. I do pick up the marine though in this, which is really nice. I don't get a saltiness from it though, even though it says sea salt. And a little bit of aquatic is there though, for sure. Maybe a little bit of green. I think that this was kind of, I wanted it to be a little more complex than it was. I think especially because it was a WoodWick. I don't know why. When it comes to like the little offshoot Yankee brands that were like acquired by other places, I tend to maybe look for a little more complexity in them. But I didn't get a ton of complexity out of this. But again, I didn't get to kind of enjoy it in the way I wanted to either, which I think kind of altered my experience with the candle. I might try this fragrance again in the future if I receive it in a way that I can actually burn it as intended. So I don't want to judge it too much just based on not having even tried to burn it and just it living its full life in the crock. So that is WoodWick, vanilla, and sea salt. All right, next let's cover a Kringle that I burned. This one, I had the lid off of it because I'm going to repurpose the lid. So this is pumpkin peppercorn, and this is one that was recently kind of discontinued, I believe, from Kringle. I kind of wish they wouldn't discontinue it, but they did. And the notes on pumpkin peppercorn are top notes of pumpkin, cassia leaf, and sweet apple, mid notes of cinnamon, clove, and peppercorn, and base notes of vanilla, ginger root, and caramel. or caramel if you're from Ohio. That's what we say. So this kind of transformed during its life for me. So at the more beginning stages of the candle, it was a lot more pumpkin-y to me. But as it seemed to burn down here, when I got more toward the bottom, the spices came out more. And it's a nice spicy pumpkin without it being a pumpkin spice. So I did get a little bit of the ginger. The cinnamon was definitely there. But the peppercorn was so unique and just kind of added like a bite to the fragrance that was really enjoyable to me. I'm finding that when there's kind of an unexpected spice in with the pumpkin, I'm tending to really enjoy that. And there's kind of, I don't know, a lot of wax kind of left over in the end, but these wicks burned pretty hot in this case, and I got like a full wax pool going, and the wicks started to kind of slide around on me. So that's when I said, you know what? I have more of these in my collection, so I'm not going to worry about it, and we're just going to call it a day, and it's time to be empty. But it did burn really well. I would call it a strong medium in strength and throw, especially after it was going after a couple of hours. It did have a presence to it. It wasn't one of the kind of more duddy candles that I seem to have experienced recently. So this is pumpkin peppercorn. If you can find it, I do recommend it. And that's one thing. I don't want to not talk about candles just because they're discontinued, because you could pick them up on Mercari. You could find them on eBay. Who knows what kind of resellers, you know, these companies kind of liquidate to when something is discontinued. So I still want to talk about these and give my thoughts and opinions because they still exist in the world. I don't want to not talk about them. So I do recommend it. I fully enjoyed it, and I think you would enjoy it too, especially if you're not looking for just a standard pumpkin spice candle. So that is pumpkin peppercorn. Oh, and to mention quickly how I have been repurposing these Kringle lids from the 2-wick tumblers is when you, or at least when I have bought some kind of boutique candles, a lot of the containers that they use that are, I don't even have one around to grab, but they're just kind of like, you know, the jar that you get, but there's no lid on it. You want to kind of protect it from dust and maybe try and lock in some of those fragrance oils. These lids actually fit on a lot of those kind of larger boutique candles. I don't know where their supplier is that they get their vessels, but it will fit on top of them a lot of the times. So maybe think about that as you're burning through your candles. If you have some candles without lids, maybe as you finish candles, see if your lids will fit on other candles to help maybe preserve some of that fragrance. So that's my tip for the day about my Kringle lids. Okay, next let's cover, I have a Homeworks candle here, a Slatkin. This is Glazed Gingerbread. Glazed Gingerbread has notes of iced gingerbread, brown sugar, Grand Marnier, and ginger. So this to me is a European gingerbread. And it burned like all the way down. It burned really well. I did wish this one was a little bit stronger. I think the wicks on this were maybe a tad bit under what they needed to be. Just they weren't as powerful, I think, as they could have been. So This is really nice. If you enjoy Lebkuchen, if you like to eat it, if you like to smell it, it really is more of that rustic gingerbread. And you do get the glaze, and it's the one, like you can buy Lebkuchen in different varieties. So sometimes they're chocolate covered. So if anyone's been enjoying Munich Christmas Market from Yankee, that kind of reminds me more of the chocolate covered version. This is more just the glazed version. It's like the plain gingerbread with the glazed coating. So I did enjoy this candle. I'm hoping that I do have some others of it. And I'm hoping in future burns with the pours from this year that it might be a little more robust, but I enjoy this fragrance so much. I was fine with it how it is, because it's pretty unique. So, and the Grand Marnier really, it does give it that extra little something, because you do get that when you eat this particular confection, I'll call it. It's a flavor that you get when you eat it. Like, it's very, very authentic. So I enjoy this a lot. I think it's worth it, especially if you enjoy those European and German gingerbreads. All right, speaking of gingerbread, let's talk about Gingerbread Bakery. So Gingerbread Bakery is gingerbread cookies, brown sugar icing, and cinnamon spice. So this to me isn't really a gingerbread cookie. This to me is like a gingerbread cake, and there's something syrupy in it to me. Or if it was gonna remind me of a cookie, it actually reminds me more of those like Keebler iced animal cookies in the pink bag. I mean, at least that's what I remember from my childhood. I don't even know if they come in a pink bag anymore. But then also when I was burning it, there's like a nuttiness that came out to me in this. And then there is like a syrupy, I mean, maybe it's a molasses that came out. I think I wanted this to be a little more of an actual like cookie, but I can't think of in my head what it was missing to make that happen. I know a lot of people loved this candle though. I would recommend it if you're looking for a gingerbread. I mean, it by no means was offensive, but it was enjoyable. It just, that syrupy note that was coming out to my nose just was a little bit perplexing. So, and I think it was just unexpected to me. So that is Gingerbread Bakery from Bath and Body Works. And another Bath and Body Works I have here is Pumpkin Bonfire. So Pumpkin Bonfire has notes of white pumpkin, a bundle of clove buds, and glowing embers. So this is another one that kind of similar to pumpkin peppercorn. It's like, it's a spicy pumpkin, but it's not your standard pumpkin spice, which again, I really enjoy that. So it's very clove heavy, which you would expect from the notes. That's not a surprise. It's not like an overwhelming pumpkin by any means, and I definitely get the glowing embers. Like, this is a hearth type scent. So if you're not into those smokier scents, this would not be for you, but I really enjoyed it. And the issue with this one is I got about halfway through. I got to about there and it got puny wick syndrome. It made me sad. And one day I'm going to figure out if puny wick syndrome is a me problem or a candle problem, because sometimes I tend to be an aggressive over-trimmer. So it could be a me problem. I don't know, because I didn't see many other people have issues with this candle itself. So maybe it was a me problem. But I was kind of sad that it did get puny wicks. So I did put it in the crock. And it did really well in the crock. It was very powerful in the crock. Then I also got one of the little scent things for my car in this too. It was surprisingly lovely in the car. You wouldn't think you would want like a hearth scent in the car, but it was kind of nice. So that is Pumpkin Bonfire. I would recommend it. Hopefully future versions of this won't have any burn issues, but the fragrance is fantastic. All right, here is another one that I enjoyed. This is from Goose Creek, and this is Cranberry. So at first I wasn't even going to order this candle, and then they had a sale, and I had seen some good reviews on Instagram that for some people this is their favorite cranberry candle. So I decided to give it a go. And the notes are juicy cranberries, homemade jam, and sugar. And this is a very good cranberry candle, and it's not overly complicated. It's the perfect blend of sweetness and tartness, and there's not a lot of extra things happening in it, but I'm not sad about that. Surprisingly, some other cranberry candles I have tried recently, for some reason, have a lot of vanilla in them. And I'm like, I don't want vanilla in with my cranberry. I want that tart cranberry. I'm one of the weird people that if I'm making cranberries, like I can like eat a cranberry. Like a lot of people wouldn't do that because it's like a bitter tartness that some people don't enjoy eating in that state, but I'll pop a few cranberries when I'm cooking cranberries. But this was a very enjoyable candle. It did really, really well. It didn't soot on me. It burned beautifully. The wicks were great all the way down to the bottom. And it didn't get like all discolored. There's no adulteration to the scent. I mean, I would definitely buy this again in the future, and I'm glad I listened to Instagram on this one and gave it a try. So if you like cranberry, I would go ahead and give this one a try if you place a Goose Creek order. And then one more from Goose Creek. This is a little out of my usual aesthetic, but this is one of the Care Bears candles. And this one is called Care for Everyone. And the notes on it are vanilla cream, sugary amber, and golden vanilla. I loved this candle, and I just kind of picked it up on a whim. I like added it to an order when they were having a licensed candle sale. And Goose Creek, for me at least, tends to do vanillas really well in a way that they do have presence and project. But this is lovely. It's got the vanilla, and just the amber is so pleasing. It's a sweet amber. It's great. I hope that this scent is available in the future, even if it's not branded as a Care Bears candle. Like if they rename it and repackage it or something, like, I don't know, ambery vanilla or something. But this is just great. The vanilla cream, the sugary amber, it gives you what it tells you it's going to give you. It's strong and it's pleasing. Oh, I just want to smell it some more. Like this candle, I was sad when it ended. Like, I just want to smell it some more. So if you come across this one, the Care for Everyone, I highly recommend it. And I think if you enjoy like whipped cream and cashmere, it's a cousin, but it's got the same kind of lasting and staying power. But I think this one burned a little cleaner than that one did, at least the iteration that I've tried of that one so far. But this one I highly recommend, and I hope this fragrance comes back because I really, really like it. So that is Care for Everyone from Goose Creek. All right. So that is my empties for December. And I apologize if there's any coughing. I'll see if I can try and edit it out if it's too annoying. I'm still getting over this cold. Luckily, my nose is back because that's the most frustrating thing about having a cold when you light candles and fragrance is that you can't smell anything and it's depressing. But the cough, like any cold, is just kind of hanging on a little bit, enough to be annoying. So let's talk about the Candle 100. So if you hadn't seen my other video, I am trying to be a little more focused this year. The last couple years, because I've really only been into candles for a couple years now, probably about exactly 2 years. And I keep buying all these candles. I'm still discovering like what I like, what scent notes are what. So it's a journey of discovery. I have brands that I buy candles from, and then I might burn a candle once or twice, and then I forget about them, or they get put away. And there's candles that I want to discover. What do I really like? Where do I want to focus my money on? What burns well? I mean, you kind of have to think about this in a way too, that just because you like a fragrance, if you don't have luck with that brand, is it worth your money? So I want to kind of do a project, and I've called that project the Candle 100. So what I'm going to do is on my phone, I have a spin the wheel app, and I put all the different brands of candles that I have in that wheel. And so what my plan is I have to get through 100 candles from that wheel. So I did put the first 5 brands in the wheel in my introduction video, and I'm working my way through them now so that we can get through the first few. And as I finish each candle, I will spin the wheel again for the next brand that I will choose a candle from. So that helps me make sure that I am keeping all the brands that I own visible, making sure I'm trying them and finishing them, not having like candle mania in my brain where like I burn one once and then it gets put away. I want to focus on these candles so I can tell you about the candles, how they did. And even if it's a fragrance that's not available anymore or maybe not seasonal right now, I'm sure you still want to know about them. And sometimes just knowing a brand and how that candle did will let you know if it's a brand that you even want to explore. Also, I want to make sure I can introduce you to some brands that I don't see people talk about very much, but some of them are a little more boutique and maybe cost a few more dollars. So especially with these small shops, I want you to know what my experience is so that you can make better decisions, I can make better decisions, and it will also kind of put my collection in a little bit more of a controlled state because everything was staying nice and contained for a long time. And then I don't know what happened between Black Friday and after Christmas. Like, I was just like, ah. I brought way too many candles into my collection recently, and I'm kind of running out of storage. It's getting to the point where I'll forget what I have. I need to, I don't know, figure out a way to maybe catalog some things. I'm going to work on it this year. And I can't buy any more candles until I make it through the Candle 100. The only caveat to that is I can place one order for my birthday that I think I've already planned out in my head what it's going to be. And it's not going to be excessive. It's just a collection that I want to try for the spring. And that's going to be it. I'm going to work through what I have. I'm going to shop my stash and share that with you, because no matter what's coming out new at this point, I probably have something that's already similar that I can burn and even figure out if that new thing is something my nose would even like. So yeah, that's my plan, and I'm hoping that you all will either join me, or, you know, pick, if I spin the wheel and I get a certain brand and you have a candle from that brand, maybe you can join me in burning one of those candles and let us know your thoughts on them. But I'm excited about it. And it's a way to be focused, and it's a way to have an actual goal instead of just, you know, beating yourself up saying, I have too many candles and I need to burn more. It at least puts something in action. So I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to share this goal with you, and we'll get through it together and burn through some candles. So, how is your 2025 going so far? We're kind of still in that crazy space where I feel like, because people have had time off for Christmas and New Year's, like this upcoming Monday, January 6th, is really the start to the year, weirdly. So we will see how things go as things get a little bit more back into the swing of things, back into schedules, etc. So I hope everyone had a wonderful December, wonderful holiday, and I look forward to bringing you more empties for 2025 and for experiencing the Candle 100 with you in 2025. Leave some comments below if you have any thoughts or if you've made any goals for 2025. We want to hear about them. And I appreciate you all. I never thought I would start a YouTube channel, but here we are. And let's see what 2025 brings. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day and a great upcoming week, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks.